Wondering about the actual usefulness of scarecrows is the Going Off podcast with rap critic reviews. Like, the stereotype that I associate with them is there's a scarecrow in a cornfield, but there's a bunch of crows on them because they don't actually work. You know, that's like
it's just a place for crows to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea is that they're supposed to be scaring the animals away from the food. Scarecrow Incorporated, whoever the fuck still makes them, should team up with the Wacky Wild Inflatable Arm Flailing Tube Man company. Like, that would totally work, right? Like, you know, that would actually keep them away if they were actually afraid of getting whapped, you know?
What I think is worth pointing out, and that I'm sure we didn't know at the time when people first started building these things, these monstrosities, is that crows are one of the most intelligent bird breeds out there.
That's true.
You are not going to be able to fool one of these things with an old flannel shirt stuffed with hay. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
The farmers have to be making them themselves, right?
Like maybe for their own
there's
art
no
projects,
supplier for these things. The reason we're talking about this randomly is because in the second half of this week's episode, spoilers, we will be reviewing an album by the rapping scarecrow himself, Boondox.
That's right. The guy who only puts the black paint on him, not the white paint, because he's a scarecrow. It's totally different. Shut up, it's totally different.
It's totally different. I'm so glad I know that reference only because of you.
The Rocky and Bullwinkle movie was the last time Kenan and Kel appeared together on film. They were like the two guys giving Rocky and Bullwinkle a ride, and they're like the two college students. I remember that.
I don't know if I told this story on the show or not, but I actually saw that movie in theaters. It was the only movie I ever fell asleep during, so I don't even think I got to that part.
Oh, you didn't get to shut up, it is totally different.
No. And I don't remember seeing Kenan and Kel, or else maybe I would have stayed awake. Because I did also see Good Burger in theaters.
Oh, yeah. So that would have been 98, and I think Rocky and Bullwinkle was 2000.
I didn't see many kids' movies in theaters because kids can be really fucking annoying and loud, and I didn't really want to have to deal with all that shit. And that was the experience with going to see Good Burger, is that kids just would not shut up. They were running up and down the aisles. I remember the pre-roll, I guess you could call it, was a Action League Now short.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
It was Action League Now meets KISS. Because there were new KISS action figures out.
Oh my god.
So they put them in there, and I don't know if they actually were voiced by the band themselves. I kind of imagine they wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know if they're like franchise out the KISS name, or if it's like, no, if it's gonna be KISS, it's gonna be us.
Yeah, well, wasn't there like a revival of KISS, I feel like, in the 90s? Because I feel like they were on Mad TV and shit, like...
They are masters of trying to make themselves relevant in really weird ways. Like, there was a wrestler in WCW called the KISS Demon. He had the tongue and he did the blood thing and everything, and KISS actually performed.
The imagery and the name precedes the actual, like, music.
It's all about the spectacle.
They have hits, sure. But, like, when I think of, like, the big one, it's like the, wanna rock and roll all night.
Toronto!
Hard luck woman. That was a big one.
All right, then, listen.
Detroit Rock City, the movie. Remember Detroit Rock City?
I want to know if we got any people here tonight that like to get high!
I'm calling Dr. Love. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Now you fucking remember the Dr. Pepper commercial?
Trust me, I'm a doctor.
I was made for loving you. Yeah, that's the one that...
The disco hit.
Yes, where I was like, I barely associate it with them.
They were a fucking cartoon from the beginning.
Right? Like that's the thing.
If
like,
anyone took KISS seriously, it's like, come on.
Yeah, but it's so funny because it's like, they are kind of the representation of what the visual of a rock band is. You know, it's like,
oh, yeah.
You rock hard, you look cool, lick it up, lick it up.
There is only one city in America.
XXL announced their freshman class like a month ago, and the freestyles are finally out. I gotta say, no real standout duds, in my opinion.
Yeah, no one like out and out suckity sucks.
No.
Yeah, like there's of course the in-betweeners.
At the very worst, you bore me, you know? Babyface Ray
as I was listening to it, I was like, wait, did they just like tell him at the last second, oh, it's got to be censored or something? And then he was like, oh shit, I can't say that word, I guess. Like, so it just messed up the flow so much that I was just like, is he unsure of himself? Like, I feel like I'm watching the first take instead of the final one, you know? Like,
they do let him do it again, right? Like, it's not one and done. That's it. Get out.
I mean, and if that's the case, why the hell does it take so long in between all of these being put out? Like, what's taking... Like, the latest one just came out, like, 2 hours ago. And the first one is from, like, 3 weeks ago. If you look, yeah, like, they really spaced these out, and I don't know why. I don't think the last guy's gonna do a freestyle because there's like 12 of them, and there's always one person who doesn't fucking do it.
Of course, the final freestyle video was posted after we recorded this episode. We might talk about it in the next episode. We'll probably just forget about it. Fuck it.
How do we want to do this? Worst to best, or?
Yeah, sure.
Big 30. The first one has a cool voice, I guess, but just had nothing to say. Like, you probably don't even remember. Like, just a generic name in the first place. Big 30. Like...
Oh, man. Okay. There's two I didn't listen to. I just realized it.
Oh, no.
I didn't listen to Big 30, and I missed Dochi's.
Oh, okay. You should watch Dochi's.
Okay, fuck. Okay, hold on 1 second.
You don't need to watch Big 30s, but you should watch Dochi's.
Okay.
A little over 1 minute later.
Fuck! Holy shit, dude. Wow.
Crazy,
okay.
Right?
Fuck me. Yeah, that was really good.
So, just to spoil it, that was my favorite one.
Was it? Okay. Look, yeah, you don't really have too much of an argument for me. I think it's also Santana fucking brought it. That Dochi one, so much fucking personality.
Right?
Holy shit.
Just out the gate, like, you're just like, what, huh? You just, like, fucking wake up, you're like, huh? What? What's happening?
And see... And this is something I gotta bring up about this video in particular because it reminded me of someone else's, and unfortunately I forget, Kali's. They do different filming techniques for different people's freestyles.
Yeah, where the camera just goes around in a circle.
For theirs, the camera went around them. Dochi is doing this awesome thing where, like, she'll, like, crane her neck back and keep her face in the camera at all times. Kali, the freestyle ends... And she's doing this, like, pose with her hand on her face.
Away from the camera.
And she's doing it away from the camera. I'm like, oh, no.
You guys ruined the moment. Babyface Ray, he was the one where was like, did he mess up or something? You want to do that again, bro?
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Big Scar was boring, mumbled. His verse was short, barely said anything. There was a little bit of wordplay, but there was not a lot interesting there. Yeah, above that was Kin the Man.
I noticed that there was like, and I don't know if it's, you know, Nicki level, just talking about whatever, but it seemed like half the people here were like talking about queer shit. I think just about every woman mentioned like either doing shit with other women or whatever, and it's like, I don't know if that's just for show.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Who was the one who was wearing like what looked like the sort of like kink gear sort of thing where it's like the boobs?
That was Kali.
Yeah. I thought she had a more concise flow. I can like, it's one of those things where like I can hear the song that this can be, you know, like with how she's like hitting the flows and the beats. So I thought she had like a better just, you know, cohesiveness as just a delivery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked her a little bit more than Kin the Man, who had swagger, but just not that much substance. Like there was like one or two punches in there with like, they dropping, but I'm bored like charcuterie, and that was a lot. Fuck these bitches, I'm a lesbian, and a new rap bitch, something like a veteran. Like that hit kind of like oh no, I'm not actually a lesbian, but that's the line that you say, fuck these bitches, lesbian, you know?
That's why I wasn't sure.
So I was thinking like, no, it's probably that. You know? Above her was Fago. I thought he was the most like unique sounding just because it sounded like he was actually freestyling. Like he actually was just like, oh, this is what I want to say next. And this is what I'm going to say next, you know?
There were huge pauses in there, so yeah, I kind of hope so.
It's like, oh, he's actually thinking about this, you know? And above him, I actually put Nardo Wick. I thought he had consistent enough punchlines, but just the enunciation was just kind of like always a little bit off in a way where it felt like, okay, but I would rather be listening to some. But like, I have heard your hit song, but like, so like this is the guy who's got the biggest hit, I think, out of everyone on here so far. He's like the star of the show, and so it's like he doesn't need to be here, you know.
I tend to not really care for the I don't really care that I'm here kind of like attitude.
Yeah, but that's what you gotta project,
freestyle.
right? Like, I'm too cool to
I
be
mean,
here.
it also doesn't help if you're wearing a fucking chain that is so fucking big and
Oh god,
loud
that's so annoying.
that I can barely hear you over it.
The sound mixing for these things that's got like the clinking turned all the like I'm pretty sure their microphones are like they pin them to like a lapel right underneath the fucking chain, which is a very bad idea.
Yeah, they gotta rethink that.
Yeah.
That don't work.
But I like when I listened to his actual wordplay though, I was like, it is actually like I thought it was serviceable wordplay. It's just the delivery kept making me want to dip out because I was like, but he's barely committing to saying the words, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I put above him Cochise, who like he was the rappity rapper guy of the group. You gotta have the ones like I'm here to prove myself, yeah. So I was like, of course
I dug Cochise a lot, yeah.
Of course I put him high, and then above them, of course I gotta put your boy Saucy Santana. I was like, yo, homeboy was representing. I was like, oh shit. I was like, you know what I mean? Like
that was really good.
First gay MC that at least openly gay that they've had on the XXL cover, and he fucking knocks it out of the park. I was like, yes, thank you, genius. Above him though, we have KC, whose name was weird, but I loved the vocal choir that they randomly added there, because when they started the camera moving in, I thought it was the first person there that was doing the rapping, and then they started singing, and I was like, what? Oh, so it was just a nice presentation with just the reveal of, oh no, these are just a couple of other people. They have nothing to do with what's happening over here. Here's the star, and then how it kind of like as you listen, it's like, oh, but they're singing on a flow in a way that like he's clearly like bouncing off of, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really cool.
I wasn't so impressed with him.
Oh, you weren't feeling it?
I didn't really feel him. Like, I liked the presentation too. I liked what they were doing. But I think they added a lot to it.
I get you, yeah.
And I feel like it didn't really pick up until like the second half.
Yeah.
That I really start to be like, oh, okay. Because I think at first he was like not really hitting it at all.
Although I did like the line that said like, I put a piece of me in every song like James Brown, like, kind of like that, like, oh yeah, James Brown is kind of in every song now, in a way, like, and he's like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, that was a dope flip, and then of course I got to put number one, fucking Doechii. I was like, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, step the fuck aside. She took a fucking risk too, because at first, like, this started like a verse that could have gone either way of, oh my god, this is incredible, of, oh my god, what a joke, why are they doing this is so ridiculous, but then the way she committed and really brought in some wordplay of it was just like, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
You jumped out the gate, You're like, fuck it, let's go.
She definitely blew it out of the water. We're going to head on over to our 2 Kofi requested album reviews. And before we jump in, I just wanted to say that if there is an album that you would like to hear us talk about, hear our thoughts on, hear us review, head on over to our Ko-fi. That is ko-fi.com/goinoff. Request an album to be reviewed on a future show. RC Michael Adamvich is back with Black Pumas.
Yeah.
Black Pumas.
Look out.
Pumas.
They're gonna come and attack
Yep, they sure are. So I wasn't sure what to expect with this here.
Me neither.
Because I hadn't heard of Black Pumas. I got them confused with the Black Keys.
It was about what I expected. Who's the guy who produced the Ghostface Killer album? The 12 Reasons to Die. Remember? Adrian Young or something like that. Old school blaxploitation sheen to it. But like you can tell it's not really of that time, but you could, if you're not thinking, you could be like, wait, what decade is this from? Is this from like a record from the Lost 70s compilation? You know what I'm saying? But with that album, it sounds like they're sampling that. With this album, it just sounds like they're just trying to replicate that. And as I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, did they get like an old man, to like kind of like, who's from the soul days do it? And it's like, no. When I looked it up, the guy who's singing this is actually relatively young. So it kind of feels like, I don't want to say a pose. It's very throwback in that Anderson .Paak, Bruno Mars way, but unfortunately, I think it's in a way that doesn't really hit me that well.
I was going to ask your opinion on how it compared to Silk Sonic, because I definitely was reminded of it. It's kind of hard not to be. I thought this did what it was trying to do very well. Bluesy, kind of psychedelic. Everywhere kept saying psychedelic, and I never really got hit.
That up at all. I was like,
no, I must have missed that.
This is very earth-toned music.
Yeah, it doesn't really get too out there crazy, really. It stays pretty down to earth here.
Yeah.
You know, if I was wanting, 2021 version of that, I don't think I'd be able to find much better than this. It sounds pretty authentic. I like the instrumentals a fair bit. A lot of jangly guitar, which I really like. It's pretty bare bones. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this is kind of just, well, because this is the sound of the genre, it has to just kind of fit this feel right here, which is just this, you know, like...
There was a lot more emotion in the instrumentals than the vocals, and that might have tried to kind of pad it, kind of make up for the lack of, like, real unique delivery on these.
And you know what it is? Like, whereas, you know, we were talking about the pastiche of the Anderson .Paak Bruno Mars album, but, like, you know, even as we talked about it, like, yeah, we can acknowledge that it's doing that 70s sound, but it still imbues it with a certain new life to it, where it's like, but you are getting something new when you listen to the 7, 7, 7, let's go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want music that makes me feel something, you know what I'm saying? So with this, it was just like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm not like, it's not giving me life, you know what I mean? And then the fire song, where it's just like, there's a fire, call the fireman. If you're in pain, baby, call a doctor. It just feels so generic. Like,
those are the only lyrics I actually have quoted, because I was so amazed at how underwhelming that chorus was.
It's like, you either, the only excuse for that is that this is a cover of an old, you know, 60s tune, or you brought a, like, 60s songwriter out of the, you know, woodwork to write a song, and this is what he wrote, and you're like, well, out of respect for him, let's do the song.
Fire was my lowest rated cut on the whole album, actually, and my favorite one was Stay Gold.
That one had the most unique charm to it, I'll definitely say.
Yeah.
Remember the October 33rd? With the clearly trying to go for the who's your boy Al? But when I heard it, like, you know, listening to the song, I thought he was saying, because he's saying, I've got your number, lonely October 33. I wear it on my soul's back like fat, fat, fat. That's what I thought he was saying, like, I wear it on my back like fat. And I was like, oh, that's kind of silly. But then, I wear it on my back like fair, fair, fair. Which I think in the Genius annotation they said, like, yeah, they were just doing it as a nod to the singer that he's clearly trying to emulate from the 60s. You know what I'm saying? But it's like one of those things where, like, it kind of tips the hat as like, man, be your own man, you know? Like, there is a way that you can do, like, the sort of nod thing. But, you know, it feels like this is about saying that the genre, Otis Redding, I messed it up, Otis Redding. This feels like museum music, you know what I mean? Like, this is what soul, if we were to interpret what a soul song sounds like today, here's what it would sound like, you know, like.
The deluxe edition was nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys.
It says, don't it? Oh, the music that reminded us of how the only good music was the music from 40 years ago.
Colors was nominated for Record of the Year.
Colors was cool.
It was okay.
It felt like a social issue song without actually saying anything. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, it was almost there.
Like, is this supposed to be about queer people? Is this supposed to be about racial harmony? Well, it's not really saying, you know, like, the self-titled album explores the natural, colorful diversity found in any given moment of our lives.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, that sounds so generic. Like, it sounds like it doesn't even have enough conviction to say the colors of the different ethnicities of people that I meet. You know, like...
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the color... Of course, there's different colors. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my favorite colors. My sisters and my brothers. See, I'm like no other. All my favorite... Like... But even then, it's not really committing to saying anything, you know?
Yeah. It was nominated for Best Roots Best American Roots Performance, but not, what is that, like, songs? What? No, I think I'm getting it confused. Doesn't MTV have, like, a Songs with a Message award or some shit?
Oh, yeah.
Video with a message.
Sure. But
maybe it won there, I don't know.
But you see how this is, like, for that type of song, it's so generic. Like, it's not even pushing any button. You know, it's not even going, because, like, well, anyone could listen to this song, and if they're, you know, queer-phobic, they wouldn't even think twice. You know what I mean? Like, because they would miss the message. There is no message. They're not saying anything.
I think there's a lot of really great moments instrumentally on this. I like the jangly guitars, the fuzzy guitar that comes up.
Sure.
There's songs that have really transcending string sections and arrangements that come in. Like, they do a lot of really cool stuff, and I think as someone who tends to not pay attention to lyrics as much, I think I was just kind of won over by the sound of the instrumentation. But even by saying that, even looking at the ratings I gave each individual song and the overall rating of the album, I'm not interested at all in listening to this again. I think one of the disappointing parts of the album is that they specifically really know how to start a song. Just about every song, right out the gate, it's like, ooh, alright, cool. And then it just kind of coasts.
Yeah.
And doesn't really go anywhere interesting from there. Like, it really just shows its hand right away. It's like, this is what the song's gonna be. And sometimes it gets more interesting. Lyric-wise, it hardly ever does. Vocally, it stays about the same tempo, the same intensity throughout essentially the whole album. And it doesn't really give you a whole lot to latch onto. Overall, though, I walked away with a 4. But like I said, I'm not interested.
It's competent. It is 4 for competence. I think that's what you...
It's a well-made album. I'm not going to be picking it up. You know, I'm not going to be putting it on my Spotify playlists or anything.
Yeah, I gave it a 3. I think Touch the Sky is a nice trumpet hook. You know, that was kind of cool. Sweet Conversations, I honestly feel like, was the song that most lived up to the psychedelic. It's the most psychedelic the album gets, where it's like, oh, it has a sort of feels like it's like low vibration meditation sort of feel going on. You know, like, that was the most closest it felt like to that. But even then, it was just like, I mean, it was cool. Like, but, you know, this is like the old man just got into Buddhism and started meditating. And it's like, whoa, can't wait to see where that goes. But that wasn't really him most of the album, though, you know?
We're going to our next album. What? Requested by Melvin... What?
Get them banjos out.
Melvin Shaman requested South of Hell from Boondox, one of the more peripheral psychopathic players. I feel like if you had a psychopathic fighting game, you could have all the big time players as, you know, your first day players, right? And then there's the other ones you have to unlock. Boondox feels like a character, if he was in the game, that would take way too much to unlock, and then you wouldn't ever play with him anyway.
This is what our podcast has been concerning the Insane Clown Posse members. We finally unlocked this guy, and wait, why did we do this?
Was it worth it? Was it really worth it? Okay, so
let's get into it.
So up to this point, we've covered ICP a few times. We've covered Twisted. I think Boondox is the only other member of the group, or the label, rather, that we've really talked about up to this point.
Oh, we did Zug Island.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That would be the last interesting one where you're like, hey, didn't they like produce a song for them that was really kind of interesting? Hey, yeah, what's going on with this group? There's something here, you know?
I completely forgot about that. Holy shit.
Cracks Tile, yeah.
So, Boondox is a rapping skeleton. Not skeleton, Scarecrow.
Oh, that's what's next.
A rapping skeleton. I'd actually probably be down with that. I don't know. Man, this sucked. I hated this so much.
I'll say this much. He's hitting a very specific beat that I would at least give him credit for. Because he's going for the, like, okay, this is the horror Scarecrow, even though I'm not sure how different this is from Clowns, but it's okay, like, Clowns, it'll be circus music, but this is specifically, in the boonies down south and in the back farm. So there's a lot of banjo picking and, steel, you know what I'm saying? So like I say this as someone who still thinks of Insane Clown Posse still as kind of hitting that countrified note, but I think he hits it very particularly hard in a way that I don't think the other guys do. Right? Like I feel like Insane Clown Posse is circus music that can kind of go into all of these venues. Twisted is purely just kind of like rap rock sort of thing. Zug Island is like specifically heavy metal, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this guy is specifically country rap blend. So like I got that at least when I was listening to some of these tracks. I did kind of feel like, oh, I actually do kind of feel like we're, it's a fucking Jeepers Creepers movie, and the whatever the hell farm equipment is like gathering up all the corn, and oh no, you might get trapped underneath. You know what I mean? Like I did get that in some of these tracks, but oh boy, a lot of the other tracks was just what the fuck is happening?
See, as opposed to my usual fare, I couldn't really get past the lyrics and everything to really be able to appreciate or even notice what was really going on musically here.
Because the lyrics, oh boy,
they really do take center stage, center ring, if I dare say.
Oh my God.
Because if it wasn't for the instrumental, there's really no way of telling that this is supposed to be a scarecrow as opposed to a clown.
Because it's like, what do scarecrows do? Like, early on, like I said, there's the Jeepers Creepers feel where he's doing like sort of haunting Color You Dead, I think. That's the one where he's saying shit about like, bury my corpse and turn it upside down so I don't claw through my coffin crawling up to the ground. Like that's like some dark imagery that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Oh, and then the part was like, yeah, you don't want to see a pissed off, blood-sucking motherfucking rabies infested just like a rat from the gutter. Like that was the most scarecrowy feeling. Oh yeah, it's like this thing that's stuffed with hay and it's kind of maybe blood-soaked and looks really ripped up and sort of like, songs like that I kind of got. Oh, Red Dirt Road. That was the one where I felt like the most I got that feeling of like, oh, old back roads, sort of haunted, like literal scarecrow from Batman looking guy coming after you, like with the shit, the lyric where, well, blood chills and spills like a liquid was kind of a stupid opener, but it's like blood is a liquid.
Fucking have this quote from Color You Dead since you had mentioned it.
Yeah.
Rip out your skeleton. I'm something like Davidian. I'll catch you while you're sleeping, put a hook through your jugular, then I'll climb out your window. I'm the Scarecrow murderer. I was like, really now?
It's just imagery for its own sake, and it's not really going anywhere, yeah. And Davidian? What is he talking about? David Koresh? What?
Yeah, David Koresh. Think that comes up too?
I think the hook, whip out your skeleton, burn the flesh, or something like Davidian, and in the background you're supposed to say David Koresh,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This is also the same song where he says, I'll leave a hole in your brain like you was Kurt Cobain. How you like that one?
Oh, God. Stop with the and this is 2010. Like, dude, stop with the fucking Kurt Cobain references.
I forgot to mention it. The intro.
Oh, yeah.
The intro is this kind of spooky whirring mixed with a snappy banjo. You hear the backwards voices, and there's this catchy beat going on in the background, and it actually sounds really dope. And I don't really think there's another thing on this album that sounds as good as that.
Yeah.
Like, it really just kind of peaks there. I thought the jangly guitar, again, really getting a lot of jangly guitar this week.
You're a fan of the jangling guitar.
I do like it. It has some more, character that opens Cold Day in Hell. I dug that. And I didn't think the chorus was awful, but I thought the verses were seriously lacking. It's funny to see how I write notes about albums. The first song, I'm always really generous with my notes because I don't know what I'm in for.
Right.
So when I say, the chorus isn't awful, but these verses are severely lacking. Halfway through the album, I'm just writing down, this fucking sucks. This is garbage. Like, I've had enough. I'm ready to stop. This was almost an hour, RC.
Yeah, I mean, that's the listening experience, right? Like, at the beginning, you know, the gimmick is new. And then halfway through, it's like, okay, are you going to do anything else? Or is this it? Like, see, the only thing I liked is the imagery of, like, rot and, like, you know, stuff that's destroyed or, like, certain imagery. Like, because I was like, okay, I can get that feeling. I mean, you know, a scarecrow is a very, like, you know, messed up, jangly fucking thing in the first place, right? And so it's like pulling at lyrics like, catch you all alone, sink my fangs in your veins, like the bone, leave you drained to the bone like a human juice box with a straw in your eye socket. Like, I kind of thought that was kind of like just an interesting imagery, like sucking out all the blood. So we get to the first real, like, theme song with a story to it, Love of My Knife. What do you think about this one, Muse?
So I thought the first verse was pretty solid.
Sure.
In fact, I thought the second verse was dog shit. I thought the acting at the end...
Oh, God. It's like, we get it.
So fucking bad, and it ruins and kills whatever promise this song could have had. This is a trope I'm fucking sick of. The love song to an inanimate object that is usually a murder weapon. It's a love song for my gun.
Yeah,
it's a love song for my knife.
Yeah.
I've had it. Enough.
To my hatchet. To my...
It's always the same goddamn thing, man. It's always, oh, you think it's one thing, but then it subverts it. Well, not when you call the song Love of My Knife. I know where it's going.
Right.
You already ruined the joke. But I had to quote this because this I know this got stuck in your craw. She keeps my heart beating like a high school drum. I can't wait till I get home from work so we can spend some time. No! You can't do that!
Like, you have to have fucking... You have to be doing that in a cool way to make that flow. You know what I mean? Like, because there's some people who will kind of do that. I'm pretty sure Snoop Dogg has done that a bunch of times, where it's like, sure, half the rhyme is this, but then he moves on, then you kind of hear you know what I mean? Like, there's a way to do that. But when it's just like, or like when you make it sound like you clearly ran out of words, it's like, oh shit, I wanted to rhyme this part, but the rest of the word happens.
See, it sucks to be this close to ICP, too, because ICP don't take themselves seriously, like, at all. And Boondox takes himself way too seriously.
Maybe not too seriously. As we get a little later on this. But yeah, up to this point, yeah.
Like, where the fuck do you go here? So, when you have a line that's that goofy and lopsided, you can make it work if you give it some personality. But if you just deliver it straight, like, that's fine. Like, no, that has to be addressed.
The one part I thought was kind of cool, just the part where he's just like, he talks about like the girl dancing for him, and then it's like, oh, and then when my honey touched her skin, it sent a shiver up her spine. Looked at me kind of crazy, sounding slightly bold, asking why the fuck my touch be so hard and cold. So I'm looking back at her back, but I didn't open my mouth, you know. So it's like, I like that sort of little story beat there of like, oh, she felt the knife, but she's like, wait, why is he so cold? What was that? You know, like, I thought that was at least a little bit of imagery, but yeah, everything else is just so blatantly about like, yeah, I get it, what the song's supposed to be about. You're all fucking her because you're fucking her, and then you're stabbing her, and you're sucking out her titty while you're still stabbing her. It's just, like, I get it. The point is to be viscerally like, but it's just, and especially with the way it like does the skit at the end, like we didn't fucking get it. Like, you laid out this whole fucking story. We got it.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awful. From there...
I've reserved those words for the very next track, my friend.
From there...
What in the fuck?
This, I had the honor of having heard this song before. We watched the music video for First Impressions, like,
yeah, I remember
6 years ago or something.
I remember, because I will never forget that stupid ass, the Scarecrow turning into the gravestone.
Oh, fuck me. I had to post it as a GIF on Twitter so people could see. This is such a fucking mess. And
it's so bad compared to the rest of the quality of the other song, like just music wise. Like when he comes in, it's like I was like, what is happening?
The auto-tune on here, like, it's used in such an inappropriate way. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
It sounds like the auto-tune is an actual physical machine that he has to, like, work hard to make it work. Like, it sounds like he's pumping a, crane or something.
It sounds like someone's just chopping him in the throat.
Right.
Leaning from the ground on the land. Like, it doesn't sound, like, it almost sounds painful. Like, fuck, why?
See the leaves falling down all the way down. That just the way it's droning like that. It's like, this is... No, you need to take a second take of this. It should not go like this. This is not how these lyrics should go, because this already is boring. And then, did you notice this too? I was listening to it. I just happened to be listening to it around the 4th of July when a bunch of fucking fireworks were going off. But and my car was on, so I'm listening to it in the car, and I kept hearing a really loud that sounds like when like a firework is like really close to you, and you're like, oh shit! Like, but I kept hearing that in the beat, but it kept like cutting off really early, so I kept hearing like, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, what is that even supposed to be?
I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah, it was this weird thing in the mix where it's like, it kept throwing me off. But yeah, this is so awful. Like, this was the worst. Like, how could they have made this the single?
I have no idea. Like, this got a music video and everything. I don't know. I wanted to see if I can't pull up, because I don't want people to listen to this. Dude, this doesn't even sound like this takes place in the same studio that the rest of the album was recorded in, straight up and down. Like, teardrops on my notepad. Dope, sick, feels so bad. Everything seems so fucked up. I'm about to go mad.
Oh, and the flow is rapping over that 3/4.
My life tried to live right. What? This night, hope will end right. Hell's door open wide. Inside, here's your invite. Ugh. It's so choppy.
Oh, and this is supposed to be the song that's like, thanks to all the fans for, keeping me going this whole time. Because that's what the second verse is, right?
Yeah, oh God.
It's like, that's what this was?
One love to all those that got me through the lows and stood by my side, and they came out to my shows and gave me a reason to pick up this hatchet and run with the family. Scream psychopathic. Look, there's a song later with the most cookie cutter chorus. Oh, it's the last one. And I'm swinging hatchets while I'm screaming psychopathic. And I'm wicked, and I run the show, and I'm wicked, and I'm a juggalo.
It's like,
okay.
Wasn't it supposed to be about scarecrows? What?
Most color by numbers, checkbox reference, everything I need to do.
Like in the same way that country... See, this is the thing. I like Insane Clown Posse in the crazier shit they do, because it's like, wow, no one would ever make a song like this, because, when they do a song like Hall of Illusions, you know what I mean? It's wow, this is a song that's about something, but it also has a heavy metal edge to it, so you can enjoy it as a song, but it also is like really kind of like giving you a concept. Like, that's when I enjoy Insane Clown Posse and what this roster of artists can be. It's like, oh man, no one's ever gonna make a song this weird, because everyone feels like they need to make R&B and love songs. So here are these guys kind of doing something different. Like, but when I don't like it is when they get into their own tropes, where it's just, swinging hatchets around and cutting off heads, and like, that's their version of just the generic fucking, pop songs or country songs that are just about my beer and my truck, and you know what I mean? Like, so that's when it becomes like, oh, I'm supposed to be listening to you guys because you guys are supposed to be the more creative alternative, but then you guys just have your own funk that you get into where you just talk about the same shit, Toast to the Fam, I thought was fun enough. I wouldn't turn it off, if I heard it. I'll take it over the bro country that I hear on the radio typically. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Like, this is all relative at this point. Because as I'm listening to this, I'm getting the, oh wow, this is country rap before like the fucking mainstream radio. Like these motherfuckers were kind of had their finger on the pulse beforehand. You kind of had to give them that because this was 2010 and the bro country shit didn't really start popping until like what 2013. So they
this definitely does read like a Luke Bryan song.
Right, like
starts out. I'm tore up from the motherfucking floor up. You gotta be kidding me. That's your opening line, by the way. Golden grain to the brain. Okay. Little Scarecrow reference. I dig that.
Right. Roll a blunt, light it up. I'm about to pour a glass. You get high and I get drunk, and I'm gonna meet your ass somewhere in the middle. Again, it's a little awkward. I'm gonna meet your ass somewhere in the middle, somewhere on the other side. But then I like the ending was like from East to West Coast, everybody getting country fried. Like I like that, you know. It's fine. I like when I just put it in next to, like I said, the bro country that would come thereafter. I gotta look back at this and be like, you know what? Good enough.
Now, this, in my opinion, is where the album gets interesting. Okay. In between.
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna read this to you.
Wait, are you gonna read it? Are you gonna read this hook with the affectation that you need to be reading this hook with?
Hold on.
Like in the guitar. Use Bengay, ask for cream, KY jelly or Vaseline, anything to slide between them sweet supple jugs. I couldn't believe it. But
oh my god.
But I fucking love it.
That's fucking stop.
I love how just as it started, my eyes widened. Just like, whoa, what? They just went for it. They just swung for the fences. Sounded like a fucking jug band, you know, fucking dancing all over the fucking fucking dirty ass stage with beer bottles and shit, hitting that fucking, you know, slide guitar. Let me sing about them boobies, girl.
Fun bags, high beams, rack, top shelf nugs, cupcakes, floppadoodles. Let me see them. Floppadoodles.
It's just so ridiculous that I was like, it comes back around and be like, oh god damn it. When it gets to the, take them out, make them bounce. Like, I can imagine the fucking R-rated SpongeBob, you know, sequence of the movie, you know, where they go to a fucking backwoods country strip club. Like, I'm sorry. God. Look, I'm not made of stone, all right? If you get stupid enough, I'll come around with you. Okay. I'm like, I know this isn't trying to be like fucking respectable, you know, like whatever. You know, let the clowns have some fun. You know, clowns just want to have fun, Muse.
Yeah, I can't say I like this one at all.
You said I cannot sanction this buffoonery.
So what we got next, though. This is what I think is very honest.
The one question I wanted to say, though, is use Ben Gay. I was like, who uses
That's
Ben
the first choice.
Yeah, man.
Ben Gay is before Astro Cream, did he say? Astro Glide?
Or, yeah, like, why would that be first?
Ben Gay is first.
Before just, like, Aloe or something? Like, what?
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Anyway.
Next, though, Family Tree, I think, is the first decent song on the whole album.
Sure. Like,
I think the song is actually pretty dope.
And it's basically about, like, hating your family and having all this negativity towards it and, you know, having, like, seeing all the death or the darkness that kind of, like, seems that's all in your family and being like, oh, man, let's just fucking burn it down. Like, that sort of really dark feel to it. Like, I like that, right?
Dude straight up says, my family is cursed like the Von Erichs, which is a wrestling family where just, like, every member of the family died under, like, tragic circumstances. And it's like, oh, shit. Okay, that's a very interesting, nice reference to pull.
And, oh my god, sorry. I just went back. I just saw the lyrics from the last song.
Oh.
Now I got enough time for them titties tonight. It's like your mouth is Alaska and I'm about to lay pipe.
I'm glad you're tickled.
It's so awkward. It's so purposefully corny. Oh, fuck. And then I just looked at the song after. Okay, so you know that laugh I was just having, that good old chuckle we was just having? Well, prepare to turn this frown upside down. I mean,
Turn this smile upside down.
Yeah, but there's no rhyme for that. But when I saw, I'd rather be wrong than not rhyme. When I saw the title, let's be honest, I couldn't. I was like, it can't be about it. It has to.
Of course it is.
I was like, no. Please tell me they're just doing a weird spelling just to do it. Please tell me it's not actually about
this song.
Oh boy.
This is so fucking shitty, dude.
Yo.
Like, not even in a, this doesn't age well, because it doesn't.
Or not even in a, these jokesters making a joke about, like the last song where it's just like, oh my god, they're just being so cool. This is like jaw-droppingly, like, oh, that is a shitty sentiment to bring up, like,
I apologize in advance, but I need to present this chorus.
Oh god.
As is. Drop the act and let's be honest. No more trips for you down south. Ding-a-ling, you know you want it. Take the pussy out yo mouth. You love the Peter. Bitch, don't lie. You love the cock, don't even try. No more cooter, no more coochie. Vajayjay, time to say goodbye.
What in the fuck?
I just realized he also says just turned 18 in the next verse.
Oh,
so
my lord.
We don't need that.
But isn't there one at the end of the first verse? Or is it just some talk where it's like, what the fuck's up with these bitches? I got dick for days and these hoes want to keep their face buried in some pussy. Bitch, you ain't even gay. Like, what?
He says it at the beginning of the song.
I'm like, says who? Like, who the fuck is, are you the officiator of who's gay enough to, like, what in the fuck is happening?
It's so tactless and so
disgusting.
It's just a very disgusting song, which is funny that they would decide to sandwich it and pair it with the next song.
Listen, oh.
They just decided we haven't dropped any homophobic slurs this whole album, right?
Oh, they're
Let's
overdue.
do it. And then they dropped the F slur and Just Die, which I don't even know why they even necessarily had to, because Just Die is another one of these just like absolutely bullshit garbage, like just violent, hateful for the sake of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And the whole song, he's just like alluding to it. Like he's saying other words that could potentially be taken as homophobic slurs.
Oh, sure.
And it's like, if he just would have left it at that, but it's like, I knew he was going to.
I was bubbling in the back of his fucking mind. It's like, oh, we gotta just say it.
I had the whole lyric sheet pulled up on Genius. I think it was a verse and a chorus ahead. And my eyes just scanned down the page real quick. And I saved myself some time because I just went ahead and skipped about midway through. I was like, I know where this is going. I don't need to hear this one. But this is what I think is the most interesting thing. That they would choose to pair and sandwich Let's Be Honest and Just Die between, in my opinion, the two best songs on the album, Family Tree and Nothing to Lose. I think those two are the best ones.
That's the one with Insane Clown Posse? Is that the one?
No, that's Watch Your Back.
Oh. Wait, what happened?
That's the next one. I honestly wasn't even really feeling Watch Your Back until ICP came in. And then I was like,
right.
You boys kind of saved it.
They always do. Have you noticed that? Every time they come on one of these albums, it's always like, oh, thank God. We're having fun again.
It's such a surprise. And they came in for the next to last song. Like, they really had, like, Boondox had so much faith in his own abilities that he was like, I don't need ICP to help sell this shit. I'm skilled enough that I can get away with putting them at the very end of the album and no one's going to be like, where the fuck is ICP?
Now that I look, Nothing to Lose actually was pretty good because I liked that it was like a song about, really giving you a piece of him, like a core of like how he kind of feels about his life, right? Like he's like, childhood is to blame, poverty stricken, acid defects in the mix, and watch the plot thicken. I was sick of being poor, sick of just living, sick of depression in that trailer park prison. Like, You know, that's dope. That's putting you in the mindset. You know, I'm gonna die either way, nothing to lose. Look him dead in the eye, then I make my move. Kick the guard in the sternum, not a second to wait. The strength of my adrenaline caved in his chest plate. I hit the next guard in the face with my shackles, paint the walls dark red with blood and bone spackle. He's on like death row, I think, because he like, you know, he's committing crimes, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna get killed anyway, I might as well fucking break out. And then he like breaks out, and I think there's like a bit of a skit at the end where it's just like, oh my god, I think he said it's like, oh no, he just jumped up, where'd he go?
Yeah, he gets shot in the back of the head, and you're like, oh, fuck. But then, yeah, like, you hear the guards at the end, and they're just like, oh, shit, where'd he go? And it's like, whoa.
You know, like, there is stuff going on this album where it's like, oh, hey.
He can tell a story.
Yeah, but good lord, so much of this shit is just... Watch your back. That was the... fun ICP one where, again, you know, yeah, it doesn't get really dope until, Violent J comes in.
Yeah.
I fucking showed up high, ninja kicked you in the face, you got a blowed up eye, I'll be that clowny mental case that'll chase you, catch you, stew heart, stretch you, let you recognize this wicked shit in my eyes.
Leave it to Violent J for the wrestling reference. I wish there were more. You only got one from Boondox and one from Violent J. I could have done with way more, but RC, what did you get?
I gave this a 2.5.
Ooh.
Yeah. What about you?
I got between a 1.5 and a 2. like a
1.75.
It was like a 1.75. Yeah.
I can certainly see that. Yeah, because it's like, I definitely enjoy the creative stretches on here, and look, I guess your mileage may vary on in between. But like, you know, it's like when I listen to it, it's like, I see what he's trying to do. I see the picture he's trying to paint on, you know, some of these tracks, but then other ones, it'll just feel so generic and nothing's really going on that I'm just like, yeah, what is the difference between this and just listening to Insane Clown Posse? You know, they at least have more creative, weird scenarios, you know, like.
And from what I hear, I don't know from personal experience, but from what I hear, Boondox did have a better first album.
Oh, so this isn't the first one.
It's not this. No. This is like second or
the
whatever.
Third? Yeah, I think I remember saying that. Yeah, this is the third one, yeah. So there's more blood-soaked country rap shit that we're missing out on?
Apparently so.
Oh boy, folks, if you want to request an album for us to review.
That about wraps it up for this week's episode of Going Off. Big thank you for listening to us this week on the show and spending your time with us. It means a lot. And if there's an album that you would like us to review on a future episode, keep in mind our Ko-fi. Head over there now if you want. And if you got some money to spend and you have an idea, an album in mind that you want to hear us talk about, head on over to Ko-fi. That is ko-fi.com/goinoff. And you can request a review for a future episode.
Of course, as always, patreon.com/rapcritic, where you can get to listen to exclusive episodes of my movie podcast, Review Anew, as well as see episodes early. But for this month, I'm actually going to be taking the month off to work on some exclusive tracks that you're going to be hearing first on the Rap Critic Patreon. So head on over there so you can check all that out and also join the Rap Critic Discord to chat with me and fellow fans. We also do like movie nights and game nights and stuff, as well as my own Pacific Ko-fi, where you can request stuff that's not album reviews. And I'm glad that people have been able to make that distinction, and I haven't had the awkwardness of being like, no, go over here. Like, I'm glad we have that now, where it's like, okay, people know that this is the one where both of us get paid, and that's the one where it's just me. And so for specifically to request album streams or music video reviews or movie reviews, that's ko-fi.com/rapcritic. And also I'm doing like personal reviews as well. If you want to like send me your music, and I'll give you like reviews of it. Cause you know, sometimes people are like, I don't necessarily want, you know, people hearing it. I just want to, you know, get your, you know, personal notes on, you know, what you think about my joints.
Over on my side of things, we got the Fan House, Kids Bop live reaction videos, and also some like behind the scenes clips from Riff Break and Riffcom's filming sessions. Honestly, the best way to help support us, because you get some exclusive content along with your donation, as opposed to Patreon, which is just monetary. Honestly, at this point, I don't really do much of anything with it, especially because I actually get more of a percentage from Fan House than I do from Patreon, so that helps me out even more. And I've got some other ideas for long-form videos bouncing around in my head that I'm going to be trying to work on here soon. Make sure you're following us both on Twitter. That's a really great way to find out what we're working on, see what's coming out next. We won't be here again next week, but we will be back the week after that. So until then, for Going Off, I'm Muse.
And I'm the rap critic, and Kakele Wakande, Kakelele, Kakemese, Okapuka Shoka Black Puma